Arachibutyrophobia. So, imagine you are at lunch, someone slides a peanut butter sandwich your way, completely normal situation. But the second that peanut butter hits the roof of your mouth, something in your brain just panics. Not because of the taste, not because of the ingredients, but because of that thick, sticky feeling that will not move. That trapped sensation is what people with this phobia cannot get past. Most people just drink some water and move on. For someone with Arachibutyrophobia, that moment feels genuinely threatening, and no amount of knowing it is just peanut butter makes it feel any less real. Hippopotomonstrosesquippedaliophobia. This is the fear of long words, and yes, whoever named it, that did so fully aware of what they were doing. You are sitting in class, the teacher puts a word on the board that goes halfway across it, and while everyone else is just trying to spell it, you are already feeling your chest tighten. It sounds like the setup to a joke, but the anxiety is real. Long words show up everywhere. Medical terms, legal documents, academic papers. And for someone with this phobia, every one of them is a small hurdle that most people never even notice they are stepping over. Trypophobia. You are scrolling through your phone, completely relaxed, and then a photo comes up. A lotus seed pod, a honeycomb, something with a cluster of small, uneven holes. And something about it just makes your skin crawl in a way you cannot explain. That is trypophobia, and the reason it feels so instinctive is that it probably is. Researchers think the brain flags these kinds of patterns because certain dangerous animals and skin conditions look similar. So your body is essentially doing its job, just maybe a little too enthusiastically when it comes to flowers and beehives. Anatidaephobia. This one is the fear that somewhere out there a duck is watching you. Not chasing you, not near you, just somewhere in the world a duck has its eyes on you specifically. It sounds like something a comedian invented, and to be fair, it kind of was originally, but the underlying feeling is rooted in something real. It is that creeping sense that you are being observed and you cannot confirm or shake it. The duck is almost just a vessel for that anxiety. Although if you have ever made eye contact with a duck at a park, you will know they stare with a very specific kind of confidence. Pogonophobia. You are on a first date, things are going well, and then something about the person sitting across from you just puts you on edge. It is the beard, not the person, just the beard. Pogonophobia is the fear of facial hair on others, and it tends to tie into feelings of unpredictability or distrust. The brain has connected beards to something it cannot fully read. For someone with this phobia, a clean-shaven face is just easier to be around. Dating is complicated enough without facial hair being a genuine deal-breaker, but for some people it really is. Somniphobia. Every night when most people are winding down and looking forward to sleep, you are doing the opposite. Somniphobia is the fear of falling asleep, and it is not about nightmares or sleep paralysis specifically. It is about losing consciousness itself, that moment where you stop being in control of your own awareness. People with this phobia often associate sleep with vulnerability, or with the fear of simply not waking up, night after night. So they fight it. The exhaustion builds, the anxiety gets worse, and the idea of sleep becomes even harder to face. It is one of those phobias that quietly makes everything else in life more difficult. Koumpounophobia. You are getting dressed in the morning, completely normal routine, and then you get to a shirt with buttons, and something about them just makes you not want to touch it. Not the shirt, specifically the buttons. The small flat disc of it, the way it sits in your fingers, the idea of it going into your mouth by accident. People with Koumpounophobia describe an almost instinctive recoiling from buttons on clothing, and in some cases even being in the same room as a jar of them is enough. Steve Jobs famously avoided buttons his entire life, which is why his wardrobe was essentially a uniform of turtlenecks. Most people assumed it was a style choice. It was not. Gelotophobia. Imagine you are sitting in a cafe and a group of people at the next table burst out laughing. Nothing to do with you, they are just having a good time. But something in your brain immediately goes, that is about me. That is the core of gelotophobia, the fear of being laughed at. Not just shyness or sensitivity, but a genuine phobia where laughter in your vicinity feels like a direct threat. The reaction is not paranoia exactly, it is more like the brain has been trained to treat laughter as a warning signal. It often develops after prolonged bullying or humiliation, and once it takes hold, even genuinely warm laughter from people who care about you can feel impossible to trust.